right? Which I keep wanting to say Brando, but it's Bando.
Yeah.
I did not know it's also coinciding with an album of his. It may or may not be out. I think it's out.
Is it out?
Yeah. Band of Stone in the New World is an album, a film, and a sprawling world tour, which were all announced simultaneously back in April, along with another album, a finished version of Atavista. Is that a Childish Gambino album?
I think so, yeah.
The nearly complete set he'd quietly rushed released in the early days of the pandemic and re-released last May. Okay. I don't think it's quite out yet.
I don't think so, because I haven't heard any new songs from it.
Yeah, I feel like we would have. You know, I mean, we heard all about Eminem's new album, but you would think Childish Gambino would have been a big one as well. Anyway, it's an album coinciding the movie. I didn't know that's what it was. So you told me he's done this before.
Yeah, he's done this before with this movie he did called Guava Island.
What's it called?
Guava, Guava. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it. Yeah, Guava. Pretty sure I pronounced it wrong, but he did a movie with Rihanna, and he got a couple songs from the movie that was in his album.
Huh.
So, and I think that was on Amazon Prime too.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good too. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Did you like the movie or did you like the album?
I like both.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like both.
Okay. So you listen to Childish Gambino?
Oh yeah, I'm not I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm a biggest fan, but I am a fan. Like if his music is on, I'm not gonna turn away from it.
You know how he picked his stage name?
How?
Wu-Tang Clan name generator.
Oh, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I remember I saw him do an interview a while back, and they asked him where he came up with Childish Gambino from, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a Wu-Tang Clan generator."
You know, it was so crazy when I first saw him when he first started out. He was just this kid trying to find his way.
Right. Well, because he started out in comedy.
Yo, he started out in Community, if I'm not mistaken.
Community, but he was also doing comedy, and then he started
comedy.
rapping. Mm-hmm. And now he's really grown up and evolved over the years. He's gotten very he's matured over time, as you should. But yeah, he's really changed. I always liked his comedy set. I remember because he was the inspiration for Miles Morales in a way, right? Because this around the time when they were doing Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Amazing Spider-Man, I should say. People were suggesting, Donald Glover should be Spider-Man.
Which would have been perfect.
He's lanky and he kind of fits the shtick of Peter Parker. And then he had this bit.
I remember that, yeah.
He had this bit where he's like, I heard about this and I was all for it because obviously, who wouldn't want to be Spider-Man? He's like, but the world, erupted. Half the world was like, yeah, great. And then the other half was like, he's black, kill him. It was really, crazy.
But true.
Yeah, it was really crazy but true. And then... because of that, because of the explosion of reaction from it, Marvel was like, well, if you look at Spider-Man and Peter Parker and the characteristics in Peter Parker, none of his characteristics have anything to do with him being a white guy.
It doesn't.
You know, he's a kid from Queens and he lives with his aunt and uncle, and he's just a nerd. So you can make that a black kid or a Hispanic kid or whatever. So it's why don't we come up with a new Spider-Man? And they did. That's where Miles Morales came from. So it's always cool. And it's neat because Donald Glover's been involved in the Miles Morales kind of things that have come out, right? I think he's voiced him in one of the cartoons.
Yep, he has.
And then obviously, he was the Prowler in the Homecoming movie, and he was the Prowler in suit in the last Spider-Verse film.
Which to this day, people act like, no, that's not it. I mean, if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck.
Also, it's an Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg.
It doesn't matter what it is. I just wanted to kind of bring that up. That I didn't know the movie was also based off an album and whatnot. So that's cool. That's interesting. Cool. Yeah. So is the Guava Island one is it just a couple songs that coincide with the movie?
It's a couple songs that coincide with
So it's not like a concept that got made into a movie. It's it's just the same name.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you ever listen to the Houdini album? Not Houdini, but Eminem, the Death Slim Shady?
Some of the songs, I have to listen to it again. For me to really grasp the full weight of an album, I have to listen to it a couple times.
Right.
For me to give a definitive review of it.
I think I've listened to about half of it. And I got to say, it's interesting because it's from the perspective of Slim Shady.
Yep.
It's this character He's got Eminem tied up, and he's like trying to get Eminem canceled. So I thought that was kind of funny because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, Eminem's like this old man now, you know, screaming at the sky, talking about how bad the younger generation is. It's like, well, if you get the character of Slim Shady and you really listen and not just like hear the words, right? If you're actually listening to what he's saying and you're kind of getting the story in the album. I don't know if it's a concept album per se, but there's definitely like a theme he's going for.
Yeah, I mean, and with all his albums, has been always kind of a theme to him.
Yeah.
Like when he did the Alfred Hitchcock album.
Yeah.
Where he had him in the shovel. And then like he always has like a theme to it. Now I will say on first listen, I can already tell you this is a better album than the last 2 or 3 albums that he's put out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great. When I was listening to it, I was like, ooh, the production on this is really good.
The last albums he put out have been boo-boo. They have been subpar.
I tried listening to some of his newer stuff. And
it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. I guess he's one of those people that I think, I don't want to say he's scared to be forgotten because he's never going to be forgotten. We'll always remember who Eminem is. But I just think there's so many people that are rapping nowadays to the point where it's just like, you know, Eminem is coming more and more farther thought. I mean, you can still make music at 40-something, 50-something years old. I mean, Jay-Z's proved that.
He's gotten younger rappers on the album with him.
So, Nas does that as well. So I'm like, you can do it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not crapping on younger people in general. Like I said, he's bringing up the younger generation. If anything, the death of Slim Shady is quite literally like, I'm killing off this character because it's not needed or wanted anymore.
And that's why I took it as.
Yeah. The world's changed and this character needs to go. And then in the album, in the rap songs, is like Slim Shady's trying to like stay alive, right? That's what I gathered from listening to half the album.
Yeah, but that's what I took it as well.
Yeah.
You're right.
I thought it was funny because I think one of the songs, like there's like little pieces in between the songs, right? That kind of like tie your story up.
Skits.
Yeah. And then one of the songs, like he starts out with like "F the blind."
Yep.
It's like,
Well, I remember back in the day when he first got started. I remember he was very controversial.
Yeah,
a lot of people thought he was doing a lot of stuff for shock value.
Yeah,
you know, and then it turns out to be like, that's some of it was kind of like how he felt, but then some of it was for shock value. You know, Eminem, MTV, they used to love Eminem. Oh, yeah. They were eating good off of Eminem.
Yeah,
because he was controversial, just like MTV was.
I think also I think Eminem's humor is just very dry.
Oh yeah,
I think he's got a very dry humor, and he's so serious, like in his rap songs and stuff. Without not the Slim Shady ones, because the Slim Shady ones are silly, but like most of his rap songs are pretty serious or pretty like serious tones and themes that people don't think he has a sense of humor or that he's funny or like, you know, he's always like beefing with somebody. He's always doing diss tracks or whatever. So people take him a little bit too seriously, but he does have humor. It's dry humor. And I think this is just kind of an example of that humor is, hey, I'm killing off this character, but if I were to kill off this character, this is how he's going to go out. He's going to crap on Gen Z and whatnot.
Because he said before in the past, you know, I'm not about canceling anybody or about, but he's another thing too. He's not about being evil towards trans or LGBT plus community. Yeah, because I remember for a long time he had a beef with them as well. Yeah, you know, everything is like you said. His humor was dry. Yeah, and the stuff that he was saying in the music was just jokes. Yeah. You know, they were always jokes.
Some of the stuff he says in this music is like, wow.
Yeah, but they're just jokes, you know what I'm saying?
They are just jokes. And they're jokes at the expense of this fictional character or this piece of personality that he has. So really, it's just him fighting with himself to change and overcome.
Is his version of like something like 444? Yeah, where it's like a retrospective album. Yeah, or like Kendrick Lamar's album where he did Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's a retrospective album. Yeah, it sounds crazy when you say Slim Shady's album is a retrospective album, but it is. Yeah. So basically, all in all, that's what it is.
It's interesting, and it's kind of funny to see people take it a little bit more seriously than it should.
They just don't get it.
They should, or even like the other side where like, oh, they're gonna come for Eminem now because he made this album. No, they're not. No one's trying to cancel Eminem, as I've said before.
Anybody that knows Eminem knows that he's not serious.
Yeah. Just listen to the music. You'll get it.
On the go or on the run with Jacob and James.